So Lewis, just saw you playing a bit of basketball. It looks like that's not your first time, right? You played a bit before. You look pretty good at that.
I played when I was a kid, and I love to play when I can, but I haven't played for ages.
Do you get competitive even in those kind of situations?
I think it's almost like a sickness. It's like when I lost, I can't help it. I'm like, damn it. I'm like, rerun it. All I could think of was like, can I get them to rerun it? But and then at the end I stayed and I just kept hitting just to get past that competitive part of me. So
yeah, those look good at the end. At the end, it looked like you were
but it should be when the pressure was on. I should have been good.
Yeah. All I can say is we had George do it a couple of years ago, and you're better than George. So
yeah. I mean, if I wasn't, it would be a huge letdown on that side of things. Like I grew up playing basketball. I love basketball, so and I follow it. George definitely doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't know what other sport George like, maybe soccer or something like that, but.
Well, we saw you two play in a bit of table tennis. That looked competitive.
Oh yeah. I need to get better at that as well. So he had a ping pong table. Like we made just a desk.
Yeah.
And then he bought his own ping pong like net. So yeah, I think we have to re-up that game. I definitely need to get better at ping pong.
So that's the one thing he's got on you, maybe, is the ping pong?
At the moment, he's killing me at. He beat me. Well, not killing me, but he beat me at ping pong. So I definitely need to work on that.
Yeah, I can see that.
We'll get maybe we'll get a table more frequently, and then we'll see how it is at the end of the year.
Oh, it's great content as well, seeing you two do something.
Yeah, it's good fun.
Yeah. While we're on the subject of basketball, or back on the subject of basketball, I saw you posted Giannis's piece in the press conference where he talks about failure and the very big difference between failure and steps to make progress. What did that say to you? Because obviously it's something which you wanted to put back out there as well.
I reposted it because I felt I've been in that position, and I could feel the frustration. I knew exactly how it is like that, because when you're working towards something, it's all about, success is made up of a ton of failures. You fail far more than you do succeed, and I think people are just a little bit complacent. Sometimes people are complacent when they're asking you questions. How does it feel to be failing? It's not really that. There are no mistakes. There aren't any lessons. I keep saying, and you can't always win. Yeah. But it's how you. It's not how you fall. It's how you get back up. It's how you show up a day in, day out, and train and continue to try to get to wherever it is you're trying to get to, which is obviously the top. And I thought it was really inspirational. I thought he just spoke very, very well. I think he was very elegant with how he put it down.
Yeah, because we tend to only see the success, the tip of the iceberg, if you like. There must be so much that goes on being a pro athlete to get to that point. And obviously, like you say, failures, call them what you like along the way, but it's all steps towards something important, right?
Yeah, exactly. But also the emotional stress you go through, when you're working with a team, the emotional feelings you go through, the physical, where you're just constantly, having to dig deep. And all sportsmen and women out there will know what it's like. It's great to see there's so many people so super competitive, but it's obviously a different when you see them from our side of the table, when you're on their side being asked questions, and you're the one that's like you're going through all this stuff on the right in the spotlight as well. I feel sometimes it's difficult for people to understand, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, right now, obviously, things aren't quite where you want it, but your motivation is still there. We heard you get out of the car in Baku, and you were saying, I don't just want one more year, I want several more years here. So where's that coming from inside you?
I think, I love what I do. I mean, racing is it's been my life. 2/3 of my life I've been racing, so there's never going to be a day that I'm always going to be watching racing. I'll always be a driver till I die, right? I think the seasons are very long. It's a grueling career, but it gives so much. But I think, I don't know, I'm loving working with my team. I'm still loving racing, and I love being in battle on track. And when you can really tap into, when you get in the zone where you're really on top of everything, there's a special synergy that you have, which is hard to find. And I'm 38, but I feel younger than ever. I feel I'm training better than I've ever trained before. I feel like I'm in a great place, so I don't see why I would want to stop anytime soon. And there's a lot more I want to do within the sport. As the sport continues to grow, the work that we're doing not only within the sport but outside in terms of the impact, and working here today with IWC and Dibia, getting young kids an opportunity to get into STEM from underserved communities. That's some incredible work, and I want to be a part of that.
Yeah, because that's really tied in with what you've tried to do as well through Mission 44, and you were saying the other day that you'd like to expand it to the US, you'd like to expand it to Africa. Can you talk about what the plans are there?
Yeah, Mission 44, we're working on a plan to expand it to, I'd love to bring it to the States, and I'd love to do some work, with my trip to Africa and discovering more about my heritage within Africa. I see there's so much opportunity out there for kids, and it's really hard to believe it if you can't see it, so it's creating an opportunity for these kids. Every kid deserves an opportunity, a good education. Every kid should understand what STEM could lead to, and it's not just one job. And I think there's just a lot of and also just I'm really focused on just transforming the lives of young underserved kids. That's like what drives me when I'm in the car. If I can get on the podium and get first, and I have a bigger platform to push that narrative, and work with great brands like IWC to actually make impact when we are in these places. And it's not just about a product; it's actually about a real story and a journey that we're on.
That sounds cool. Just to go back to what you were saying earlier about getting an F1 car, there's nothing quite like it. You have done some pretty cool things. You've been in a fighter jet. Has anything ever come close to that feeling of being in a car? Can anything come close to it?
I'm sure there will be. I think you can always. It's all about mindset, right? I think. I mean, when I'm skydiving, you can get close to the excitement run that you get, but for me, because it's what I do, racing a car, there's something I'm able to do in the car that I will never be able to. That I don't know if I've not been able to tap in anything else. I'm not as good at anything else that I am at. That connection I have with the wheels and the engine, and so no, I don't think there's anything that matches that. But I'm still at all these other little things I do, fill in the gaps when when we're not racing every day, right? So in the winter break when I'm surfing, it's perfect. It's just enough. It's not too hardcore for me unless I get on the crazy big waves. Skydiving, I like trying everything.
Can you explain why? This is a stupid question in a way, but can you explain why you're so good in a car? Why you've tried all these other things, you're good at it, but you're not exceptional at it. You're not like the number one in the world. Can you explain what it is about you and four wheels, a steering wheel, two pedals that just click so well?
I think it's a hard one to really. It's hard for anybody that's good at something to explain. There's the innate ability, naturally, that I was definitely born with the ability. I think it's how you perceive things and your depth perception. It's how your mind's able to compute. Like, I'm not great in a classroom. I can't sit in the meeting and come up with, I can't. I'm not great at maths. I can't come up with solve the greatest equations. I can't draw an amazing art. But when I'm in the car, that's like my paintbrush, and it just flows out of me. I think it's meant to be. That's what I was supposed to do. And there's something when you're at the edge, when you're at 100, close to 100%, just over 100% capacity within the car, the way the brain's function and everything quietens down, and you're in a realm that you feel like you're on your own in that realm, but it feels like it transcends you to some other part of the universe for a second. It's really, really strange experience, but pretty powerful.
Sounds a little bit like what Ayrton Senna used to say about that out-of-body experience. All of a sudden, a lap around Monaco, he's seeing it from almost a different perspective than.
Yeah, well, a quote that I really loved, I think, is that we're not humans having a spiritual experience. We're spirits having a human experience, and so just thinking how big the universe is, and just we're all shining stars, and I think for me, I'm just trying to be the best I can be with what I have. This is what I was meant to do. This is what I was born to do, and it won't last forever. You know, there's going to be lots of young, up-and-coming bright stars. I love seeing these kids here because I'm so excited about their future, about what they could do, and I love that De Beer has given them an opportunity to get into STEM, which they may have not known that was important for them, and what that could lead to, you know, in 15, 20 years' time, what they'll next be doing. They'll be the next leaders, hopefully, within, whether it's government, game changers. Maybe they'll be working at an event like this, which is even more diverse and encouraging an even bigger audience of young kids to get into to have better education.
Yeah, I hope so, man. One last question on Miami. I remember, I think it was around 2017, first race of the season. Liberty had just taken over the sport, and you were asked, where would you like to race anywhere in the world? You said Miami. Daniel Ricciardo said Las Vegas, and here we are. How cool is that?
Yeah. I mean, I've been shouting about having a race in Miami, and the next one I've been talking about is South Africa, and that's what I'm pushing for in the background. So hopefully you'll see that come to light soon as well. And that's a real big dream for me to have raced in South Africa and in Africa during my career is a huge dream for me. So I know we have a big following out there. Well, I have a big following out there, and I know a lot of people are into Formula One now there. So and that would be amazing, because when we go, look, the work we're doing here with IWC and De Beer's Dreams, just imagine what we could be doing when we're in South Africa, you know, and the work that needs to be done there, and also just highlighting just how beautiful that continent is. So I'll be pushing for that.
So is that something you're talking with Stefano and trying to help on?
I'm pushing as hard as I can. In the background, I've going high up to make sure we have that race happen.
Oh, cool. I hope it happens. All right, well, thank you very much, Liz, for your time.
Thank you.
Cheers.